Fuchs. He'll be wrestling Chris Hoffman of Sigourney.
I think the interesting thing here is you have a senior Hoffman from Sigourney.
That's him right there.
Freshman from North Central. And the odd thing is, last year, North Central had the champion at this weight. North Central Manly, Ron Hegelson was the champion here last year, 28-0. Now their man is 29-0. That puts them about close to 60 wins in a row.
Hoffman of Sigourney had 2 pins on his way into the finals. He had a pin in his first match, his last match, and also in the second round he won 21-7. Now it's been a little tougher for Otten because he had to go to criteria in his semifinal round. And away we go. It's Otten in the light blue. Up in the, see the 2A up in the corner. That's Soupene against Terry Brands. Soupene of Anamosa and Brands of Sheldon will be following them too. The young man in black, Chris Hoffman, is coming around, trying to spin around behind his man. Up in 3A, it's Tim Ascherl of Fort Dodge against Sean Watt in the black from Ames. We'll keep track of those. Now we're going back to 1A, Chuck.
I think you'll see young Otten from North Central try to stay down on his knees, kind of stay out of the wrestling style. This Hoffman from Sigourney has a lot of freestyle experience, and some Greco. He was third in the National Greco Championship this last summer. Likes to wrestle on his feet, and so you see young Otten from Manly staying on his knees, trying to stay out of some of those positions.
Remember, it's 2-minute periods here, and there's no such thing as riding time in high school. You can be on there for 1 second or 6 minutes, and it doesn't make any difference. There's no score for it. Otten in the light blue with his back to you. Chris Hoffman of Sigourney, a senior, has just come around and doesn't have it yet. And he's going to lose it if he doesn't watch out.
Well, I think he has lost it. You know, he tried to do that false drag and pull himself out of there. The young man, Otten from North Central, just put his head on the mat, used his head for a post, spun his arm back through there.
And he's up 2-0. But here is Hoffman out. It's a point for escape for Hoffman. It's 2-1.
Well, I think it's interesting because Matt Otten from North Central Manly.
Oh, nice shock there by Hoffman. Makes him the leader. He goes up 3-2 with that takedown for 2. 15 seconds left in the period.
I was going to say he's trying to take away Hoffman from Sigourney's offense by staying on his knees like that. And then Hoffman figured out what to do. Did that little arm shuck to throw him on by.
And there's the end of the period. They went through 2 minutes in a 3-2 match. Hoffman of Sigourney in the black leads by 1.
Green choice.
They're tossing that green choice. That means Otten gets his preference, and he wants to wrestle up. In the second period, he would go down in the third period. This is where they start. Matt Otten, only a freshman. Boy, I'll tell you, undefeated freshman.
Okay. That's a lot of wins, 29 wins when you're just a freshman.
Well, there's a lot of difference. Can you imagine this young man's 14 years old, and Hoffman is 18. A lot of difference in maturity. Here comes Hoffman around for his 5th point. He's up 5-2.
Well, people might wonder about that, but this young Hoffman from Sigourney only weighed 78 pounds when he was a freshman. Couldn't make this weight because he was too light. And he weighed 88 as a sophomore, and finally had a chance to make the team the last couple of years when he weighed 98.
Hoffman just got 2 back points, 2 near fall points. It looks like he's on his way maybe to putting the first loss on Matt Otten. He's up 7-2.
Well, he is a pinner, and he does like the bars. You see him with a chicken wing on one side right now, trying to get a half. And if he gets this thing, he can pin very much. He likes it, does a good job with it.
We're at double A. We're just started, 98-pound class in the state championships. We'll keep track of what's going on at the other mats, too. That is a potentially dangerous hold, says referee Gene Luttrell.
It can only go so far. You either go over or you're going to break something. So wisely, the young man like this, he just broke it because he couldn't improve the position without hurting his opponent.
Back to the center. That's Hoffman leading by 5, 7-2. He lost the first takedown, but he's been in control ever since.
Well, you kind of see the difference between the two men as they start to put a little bit of time behind him here. Even though the match is still a scrap, and young Otten from North Central likes that little short sit-out where he reaches back to hook the head. You can see that Hoffman from Sigourney is really kind of taking that away from him by what he's doing. Just a lot of pressure on top.
Over at double A, it's a 2-2 match between Soupene of Anamosa and Brands of Sheldon, by the way. We'll keep track of that one, too. It's now 3-2 in favor of Brands. 30 seconds to go here at AA, and Chris Hoffman has a 5-point lead, and he's been putting the mustard to Matt Otten, the Manly freshman here.
An interesting thing's taking place over in the AAA, Doug, and that Ames young man is beating the man from Fort Dodge 4-0. And that's one of those that will decide that team title.
7-2 here. Actually, I think it's 1-0 over there, Chuck. 1-0 rather than 4, so it is really close.
Oh, my God.
Fort Dodge is trying to put it away in the finals. They lead by, what, half a point. And they have 3 men in the finals, and Dowling has just 1. That's Otten's coach, Ken Pukes. His man is having a tough time here in the second period. He's been on his face most of the time.
Well, he's been manhandled. It's really a difference between a man and a boy. As you've indicated, that age makes a big difference.
The end of the second period. Now, young Matt Otten gets his chance to try on top. No, he started there, didn't he? Well, it's going to be, he's going to have to find a way out or eat a lot of mat here. 7-2 is the score. He's trailing Hoffman of Sigourney.
Well, he stopped that initial move by picking the ankle, then went right away to try to change and get off one of the arms. So what he's trying to do is stop his man and put him down with a breakdown. Now he's got an arm in this position. He tries to really work hard to get into the bars, where he'll chicken wing one side or overhook the arm, put it up on the back, and then attack the man by arm control.
We want to mention, too, that if you are wondering how your young neighbor friend came out from 3rd through 6th, you'll see all the place winners tonight in every weight when they go up on the award stand. You'll be able to see who finished where. We'll show you all the award ceremonies throughout the night. Boy, I'll tell you, young Chris Hoffman has put on about a 4-minute ride.
Well, part of the problem with a young man from Manly, Matt Otten, is really that power. He just doesn't have the power to be able to put himself on his feet with pressure back into his opponent. So he's just spent a lot of time all tied up and wrapped up in a knot.
We're less than a minute from the end of the period and the end of the match. It's 7-2 in favor of Hoffman in the black. The young man who's down tying his shoe right now. In the AAA match, it's now 2-1 in favor of Watt of Ames over Ascherl of Fort Dodge. It's 7-2 in favor of Brands of Sheldon over Soupene of Anamosa with about a minute and a half to go in each of those 2 matches. Here it's 7-2.
Well, he just stops it continually, puts a real good stop line right off the whistle. And that puts him down where he doesn't have any support underneath himself. No arms to support him, no knees under him. So it's a matter not now of winning the match. It's just of not getting hurt or not getting turned over. Hard to win from this position unless your opponent makes a mistake.
Hoffman did get a couple of back points, but he hasn't been able to drive Otten over. This is Otten's freshman year.
Well, he knows what he wants to be like now that he's been through something like this, Doug.
Sometimes you don't know how good you're going to be until you find somebody who's better.
That's right. He'll watch this on TV and see himself and say, I'm never going to let that happen again.
And that's the end of it. It's a 7-2 win for Chris Hoffman over Matt Otten of Manly North Central. And we're going to be checking in at one of the other matches. We noticed that Tim Ascherl of Fort Dodge just took the lead over Watt of Ames with about 30 seconds to go, 5-4 in that match at AAA, and Fort Dodge is trying to win a team title. But here we had Chris Hoffman of Sigourney wrap it up a championship in his senior year.
Well, he's getting a hug there from Coach Smith.
We're going to 3A now, Chuck, and you see 2 men in black, and this is
well, it's Ames on the bottom. You can tell by the orange stripe on the leg right there, so that means Fort Dodge is going to win this match up on top with this time running out.
And Fort Dodge does. That's a big win for Don Miller, the first loss in this tournament for Sean Watt of Ames, and Ascherl has gotten a little revenge because I know Watt has beaten him a couple of times this year.
Yes, he took him down, caught him on his back right there. You know, that just iced the championship for Fort Dodge unless they lose the next 2 they have, and Des Moines Dowling gets a pin to go ahead by half a point.
The only chance that if Dowling got a pin and Fort Dodge lost everything from here on in, that would be the difference. But I think Don Miller is, he told me his stomach was on fire this afternoon. I think it probably just cooled down a little bit.
Well, he watched Des Moines Dowling really close the gap.
98 pounds. Also, we had a double A match. We'll be telling you about that, too. 98 pounds. Our principal match was Chris Hoffman. Let's go to Dean Borg.
Doug, the first of those two twins I told you about earlier, has won his state championship 11-4, and that's Terry Brands of Sheldon, the state champion now. The first of those twins, he decisions Brands-Soupene of Anamosa 11-4. Now let's go to Dick Trotter and see what happened on his mat.
I tell you, Dean, it was hectic from the word go, where we had Tim Ascherl of Fort Dodge and Sean Watt. It started out, Ascherl was backing off. At the end of the match, Ascherl had Watt of Ames on his back, and it looked like he was going to pit him. Our state championship at 98 pounds in Class 3A is Tim Ascherl of Fort Dodge, winning 8-4. Back to you, Doug.
Thank you, gentlemen. Dick Trotter and Dean Borg. First 1A.
Sixth place, Todd Schuster, Sibley. Fifth place, Mike Gamble, Griswold. Fourth place, John McGovern, Riceville. Third place, Eddie Lee, Underwood. Second place, Matt Otten, Manly North Central. And he won a 98-pound champion from Sigourney, Chris Hoffman.
A state champion in his senior year. That's what he came for. He may weigh 98 pounds, but as we often say, it's a democratic sport. You can walk down Main Street, and he's a state champion.
That's for sure. And don't we appreciate it?
You bet. We have double A's coming up next. The double A 98-pound winners are coming up on the stand as the 1A
Presenting the Class 2A 98-pound awards, Coach Galen Nelson of Sheldon. Sixth place, Matt Fugelsang, Comanche. Fifth place, Jason Eckenrod, Van Horn Benton Community. Fourth place, Skip Steyert, State Center, West Marshall. Third place, Brian Wilcox, Bloomfield, Davis County. Second place, Brands-Soupene, Anamosa. And the 2A 98-pound champion from Sheldon, Terry Brands.
Terry Brands, part of the Brother Act. His older brother Tom, his brother Tom lost, bigger brother I should say, 105 pounds. That's at 2A. At 98 pounds here in the Iowa Wrestling Championship. See that big crowd, more than 12,000 here, and who knows how many more. We have the 3A winners now coming up.
Presenting the Class 3A 98-pound awards, Coach Don Miller of Fort Dodge. Sixth place, Troy Benning, Waterloo East. Fifth place, Brad Scheidemann, West Des Moines Valley. Fourth place, Scott Lund, Marshalltown. Third place, Troy Ward, Davenport West. Second place, Sean Watt, Ames. And the Class 3A 98-pound champion from Fort Dodge, Tim Ascherl.
That little extra hug was because that might have won the team championship, too.
Yeah.
And here we